Once you've finished setting up a production or you've made some changes and you've updated your production file, then you can protect that production from the productions list, but it's also quite a good idea to make a backup copy. So you can do this by copying a production or any other user data onto USB. We do this from the second page under the production file button. So push the button to see a list of all the internal data that's stored on the system memory on the left-hand side, and then on the right-hand side in a moment we're going to look at what's on my USB stick. First of all, I'm going to connect that to one of the USB ports on the console. Just wait for that to mount, and then over on the right-hand side here I can select USB just to check that that's working, which it is. Very good. If you're in a networked installation and there's a network server that's been configured, then you can select the network option and you would be able to save and load your user data to and from a central server. Here, because we've got this question mark icon, we can see that that's not actually configured on our console. So we're going to use the USB stick method. If I look on my USB, there's a folder here that I created earlier called Lavo User Data. I did that just with a right click and new folder. Okay, and then named it with the console keyboard. I'm going to select that as my path for all my data that I want to copy off from the system. So then if we come on to the left-hand side, we can see the different types of user data that we've created. So the top level is always the production, and inside the productions folder here we can see all the individual production files that we were loading and saving into earlier. So for our example, we want to take a backup copy of the production called New Show. So just select it, right click and select Export, and that makes a copy of the production file onto the USB. I can take other sorts of data if I want to as well. For example, any DSP presets that I might have saved. If I want to, I can also take individual snapshots out of the active production. So the active production, remember, is always shown up here. So it's for a specific show, Olympic Breakfast. And if I open the folders here, I'll be able to see my folder of snapshots and I'll be able to see the individual snapshots. So maybe let's just export one of those as well. If we've now gone to a different system, or maybe let's take an example where somebody has actually come in and deleted our production off the internal memory. So where is my new show? Well, my backup is on this USB, okay? So I come back in, I load my USB stick inside my folder. I'm now seeing not everything that I thought I'd copied onto the USB, because it's important that the files go back into the correct directory structure on the internal memory. So a tip is to actually click this option, Show All Files. Now you can see everything that we copied earlier, but you'll see that I can't take this production and put it into the snapshots folder because I need to make the correct selection here, productions. Now the production will be imported. New show, go back to the production list. Here's the production. I can load it and I've recovered my user data. Okay, let's have another look at that. So if I have, for example, this vocal compressor, which is a preset, then that needs to go back into the presets folder. So as soon as I select presets, we get this green icon here showing me that I can select it and import it into the system. Another thing just to watch here is the Lavo system never overwrites an existing file, okay? So because we have already imported New Show back from USB, if I select it again and do a second import, you'll find that it still copies the file over, but it gives it an automatic suffix with a number. Okay, so that's just a safety mechanism so that, like I say, you can't deliberately overwrite an existing file.